Hello, everyone. Welcome to MANTECH's presentation regarding analytical solutions for environmental laboratories, effluent treatment plants, and drinking water plants. MANTECH, we're a manufacturer of laboratory, portable, and online analyzers for water and soil. Now, when it's online, that's going to be mainly water, of course, and wastewaters. We have more than actually 2,800 analyzers now in 52 countries, and every day there's more than 600,000 results being generated, measured, and used for different reasons, including operational efficiency and compliance. And MANTECH's mission is primarily to produce quality results, or that's job number one, because we have to do that first. It has to be quality, trusted results. But then where we're going to deliver value for you is we're going to do the testing faster than has ever been done before, that can be done, and we're going to do it in a green way, which could be green chemistry, green impacts, or both. And this is going to lead to significant positive economic and sustainable impacts for your company, for your group, institution, and for your communities. So a bit about MANTECH. We're in this is year 2021 in August, and we're coming towards the end of MANTECH's strategic 5-year plan, which started in 2016, and really a lot of it accelerated in the last 18 months. But basically, as a group, we went direct to our customers in Canada and the United States, which has been a great exercise, and we really appreciate having that close contact with our customers. Just that one-on-one discussions, understanding the value that is being generated and how we can improve our technologies. And we basically, with this 5-year plan, doubled our staff since March 2020, and made a couple of acquisitions to create even more value and secure intellectual property. And then we launched new products. So we've got the new MANTECH Pro software for the MT analyzers. We've got hardware that is catching up to that smart software that all released in August of 2021. And in Q4, there's going to be further releases. So it's been quite a busy time here at MANTECH. So we are an end-to-end water analyzer solution. So we have solutions for the laboratory, primarily accredited laboratories for environmental, and then soil agricultural laboratories. And then when we brought out the PeCOD, the 10-minute BOD COD analyzer utilizing a green and safe method, we started getting into analyzers, the benchtops for factories, for municipal wastewater plants, and for municipal drinking water plants. So benchtop analyzers for that. And then as we got into doing that for our clients, which includes breweries as well on the industry side, pulp and paper, refineries, etc., our clients and our customers are asking us to build autonomous online analyzers, and we've done that. They're in the field. They're even, for example, running an online fast BOD analyzer in a wood chip biofuel plant, so dirty and working great. So end-to-end solutions, the laboratory, factory floor, online. And what our strengths are, this slide lists it. So we have the alkalinity, conductivity, acidity, TOC, optimized TOC. We truly don't do TOC, but we have a really good surrogate that gives you great correlation, and the sensitivity is top notch. And when an event happens, that's where the MANTECH analyzer really shines, because that's where it's better than the TOC. And then ammonia, fluoride, chloride, etc. All these parameters can be done in the accredited lab, and BOD as well, or we can now do it in the factory floor. For example, a COD or BOD with attributed into pH, as an example. Okay, and it can be online as well. One solution, multi-matrix. These are empirical methods. So not surrogates, so you can count on them, and they're going to give you the same results, and you can trust them when there's events. And we have two types of customers. We have the accredited labs or the agricultural labs, which tend to be government, all levels, and then third-party contract labs. So those are all examples of clients that we have. So for example, in Canada, United States, it's Environment Canada or the US EPA. And then we'll have cities like New York City, Calgary, Toronto. And then at the provincial or state level, we'll have Florida Department of Environmental Protection or the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change in Ontario. On the municipal wastewater, municipal drinking water, and then industrial wastewater side, that's where a lot of it's non-regulatory, because the factories, if you will, and the municipal wastewater plants are bringing in the technology for internal reasons. The compliance samples are going out to the accredited labs. So in getting our, as I said, our mission is about fast and green. So for example, getting our fast 10-minute COD BOD analyzer with green method, it's about getting that for internal operation. And the ROI is very clear. It's about the 10-minute result. It's faster than the 3-hour dichromate method, and it's certainly faster than a 5-day BOD. And that value, for example, we have a gas refinery where it's $100,000 a quarter in additional profit since investing in the PeCOD. Okay, a secondary, very important advantage, often non-financial though, is health and safety. Just the fact of eliminating chromium and mercury and concentrated sulfuric acid, as well as the high temperatures from your operations, and bringing in the green chemistry PeCOD, that just improves the health and safety of the operators, the engineers, the analysts in the factory, in the municipal plant, and protecting the environment at the same time. So it's getting everything. It's a triple bottom line effect in investing in MANTECH analyzers. Typically, it's industrial wastewaters have been some of the early adopters, and now we're moving into beyond early adopters, and we have municipal wastewater plants and quite a large contingent of academics now as well. So in the environmental labs accredited, we have the automated environmental analysis systems. So like I said, it's government, all levels, third-party contract labs, and then you see a couple of beverage companies there. So for example, PepsiCo, and they've got the Aquafina water brand, and it's all over the world, and it's the same quality taste everywhere because they'll source from the country, but then demineralize and add a standard mineral pack. All those samples around the world are sent to the Dallas headquarters for spot checks. And there's multiple MANTECH MT analyzers doing those spot checks for pH, conductivity, alkalinity, and turbidity from a single 50 ml tube. And of course, you have the soil labs. Farmers, our understanding, it's got to become more scientific, increasing yields in the same amount of land and reducing runoffs. So they want to pinpoint and target fertilization with GPS coordinates. MANTECH analyzers are being used for soil pH, soil conductivity, soil salinity, and understanding how to do the testing, the rinsing, etc., top notch to make sure the results are fast and trusted. This is an example of a client where there's an investment in an MTM 100 analyzer, so automated pipetting for pH, conductivity, alkalinity, speciated, turbidity, and color, all from a single sample cup and a 21-day turnaround time. So the key with MANTECH, the lowest cost per sample with green sustainable impacts, because they use small sample cups and the least amount of reagents, still following approved methods. Here's an example of automated BOD, which we've done for many years. But we discovered quite an important tidbit of knowledge last year from our customer base who had been investing in our PeCOD, and when we did a survey, and we learned that roughly half of our customers invested in PeCOD as a BOD analyzer. And they came to us looking for that, not for COD. They came to us looking for fast BOD. And then we thought, well, would our BOD, automated BOD clients who need the compliant approved 5-day method, especially the cities in the States, would they be interested in having a 10-minute estimator connected to the same computer as the robotic BOD platform, running at the same time so that there's a screener right there? And it turns out the answer was yes. And the key is that you've got your automated BOD5, you've got your screener, getting the results back to the engineers and the operators that same day, still running the compliant samples, still running the 5-day BODs for the engineers, and even getting a quick industrial screen for the permit holders who are discharging down the sewer. And then finally, optimizing dilutions and even minimizing or reducing the amount of dilutions being done, especially for the unknown samples of BOD. So very clear. We got a variety of clients now who invested in this and really seen the value of the automated 5-day BOD with the 10-minute BOD estimator package all in one. As I mentioned, we're getting into autonomous online analyzers. It started with our PeCOD Analyzer, but with our strength and our knowledge and know-how in doing alkalinity, pH, everything is available. So for example, we had a city investing in our laboratory automated fluoride analyzer, and then the drinking water plant came to us. We want exactly the same method online, and that's what we're doing. So we're building, and we have online analyzers not only for BOD, COD, and optimized TOC now, but other parameters such as alkalinity, fluoride, hardness, etc. Getting to the PeCOD, the COD BOD analyzer, it eliminates chromium and mercury, bar none. It's done, it's gone from your facility. It's safe for both the environment and the analyst, and the detection limit is low. It's less than 1 ppm, third-party verified and published as well. It is based on nanotechnology, so we're using TiO2 nanoparticles. The chemistry is photoelectrochemistry. And basically we have the blue chip that's oxidizing and cleaning up the wastewater or the source water like a lake or river coming into the analyzer with TiO2, which is forming hydroxyl radicals, high potential of oxidation, cleaning it up, and then it's connected to an electrode, the black piece below that blue PeCOD sensor. It's counting the electrons or the current. And basically the current over time, the integration of that will give you the oxygen demand. So if it's basically in a wastewater setting, we're looking at COD or BOD. In a drinking water, source water setting, it's going to be, let's call it optimized TOC or oxygen demand. So basically the reactive fraction of TOC. The sensor is actually manufactured at the University of Waterloo's Institute of Nanotechnology, and we continue with onward R&D all around this nanotech analyzer to do even more in the future. So a great case study is Clean Harbors, multinational waste management company, headquartered in the United States with operations in Canada as well. And they, in this one location, they treat and discharge 200,000 liters a day. And those are trucks of wastewater from other companies in their bay. So it's oil refineries, chemical, pulp and paper, food and beverage, and automotive, other clients. So mixed bag. They bring it in. Before PeCOD, they were using the dichromate digestion method. 2.5 hours. Those trucks are gone. And basically, sometimes they get a high result. They'd have to call the truck back, reload it, go to another site that can handle that high strength. They brought in PeCOD. The truck is still in the bay. They're making that decision to reload the truck right away. They're making a decision to optimize treatment because they know the results so fast. And then they're also putting it right to the holding tank when it's low strength. And of course, they still invoice because they're doing the service. So huge impact. And the R squared, the correlation versus the dichromate method is 0.9. And then the same instrument, they have a permit for BOD because they're discharging down the sewer. And they use the exact same instrument with an R squared of 0.8 for their BOD. So before PeCOD, they knew their BOD once a month from the random sampling from the city. Now they know it every day with peace of mind. And they estimate about a $500,000 increase in profit per year since investing in PeCOD. And PeCOD is the tool that runs the plant now. They're bar none. This is the most important tool. Some pulp and paper mill, and we like to highlight this because these are difficult matrices. And one of these mills here has 5 PeCOD units. And before PeCOD, they just had a single digestion chromium COD method. They brought in PeCOD, they started to increase the amount of COD testing because it turned out to be so valuable to get the test so fast, increasing the profit by $3 million in the first year. Other types of industries to showcase, of course, oil and gas, food and beverage, chemical, even the companies who make the chemicals and have the know-how and the chemistry for water and wastewater treatment are now using PeCOD to support customers. So for anaerobic digestion, pond-to-pond to river movement, effluent compliance, etc. So now we talked about wastewater. I want to get into the drinking water application of PeCOD, because that was an unexpected thing for us. And basically it started with a professor, Dr. Graham Gagnon at Dalhousie University in Eastern Canada in Halifax. He's the director of a group called the Center for Water Resource Studies. And basically, in speaking with our team, he always felt that the reactive fraction of TOC was a very important parameter to have for drinking water, but an analyzer to do it was missing. And once he learned about the PeCOD and the detection limit that his team proved, they felt this was it. And that's how this all started. It is the vision of that group. Dr. Gagnon sits on the board of the American Waterworks Association for drinking water as well, so esteemed and well respected. So basically, the key is conventional metrics like TOC do not provide the information on the oxidizability of the measured carbon or the amount of oxygen needed for its degradation. So the TOC is going to give you all the carbon. It doesn't tell you the reactive carbon. And that's the stuff you really got to know so you can treat and prevent disinfection byproducts. So basically, what Dr. Gagnon has said is there's 3 tools for monitoring that source water coming into the drinking water plant. There's TOC, there's UV254, and there's now PeCOD. That's the tools in your toolbox. It's not often that a drinking water plant will get all 3. And historically, they just don't get TOC because it's operators and engineers. They're not full functioning laboratories there. And what is being said now is that PeCOD is the best tool to get. And in fact, Dalhousie has written an application brief calling PeCOD the new 2-in-1 SUVA, or Specific Ultraviolet Absorption Analyzer. SUVA is a mathematical interpretation of DOC, which is filtered TOC, and UV254. And there was the drinking water industry attempt decades ago to get a reactive measurement. It's not perfect. PeCOD's now the empirical way of doing it. And so, for example, in India, we've got units now along the Ganga River, part of the monitoring and the cleanup project. So basically monitoring and cleanup project. And then we got a country in Europe that's outfitting the entire country's river and lake monitoring system with PeCODs as well. And I do want to conclude on the drinking water part that there is an international reference method now for this, and it's ASTM D8084. So PeCOD has all kinds of applications, from influent monitoring, optimization, storm events. What are we going to do with this wastewater? And a whole bunch of water's coming into the wastewater treatment plant. How can they determine to divert quickly? Reuse applications. So for example, indirect potable reuse for like irrigation, or we had a military exercise where they were doing it, setting up a new base in the desert, and they need to know that the water is okay for showers, but not using it for drinking. And of course for discharge compliance as well, and fine avoidance. So the key with MANTECH, as mentioned, is green sustainable impacts. So an investment in MANTECH analyzers is going to give you the lowest cost per sample, short ROI with green sustainable impacts. You're going to have fast, actionable results. You have less waste. You're going to improve your profit, of course, decrease your cost if it's a government or academic, and you can protect the environment, and you're going to protect public health. And this is an infographic you can find on our website that basically, in a pleasing way, just gives you a snapshot or a summary of lowest cost per sample, highest profit with green sustainable impacts. A lot of clients all over the world, like I mentioned, from accredited labs, agricultural labs, food and beverage, automotive, oil and gas, chemical, etc. So really appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to our team who's going to do some live demonstrations for you. And thank you very much, and talk soon.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Justin Dickerman, and I'm a technical resources lead with MANTECH. I'm here to show you a little bit of a demonstration of our product line, starting with the fast and green PeCOD here. So we're just going to, take a step back and pretend like I'm one of those plant engineers or, one of those operators that's just looking for a quick BOD or COD result. So I just came from the plant. There's my sample right here, pretty easily. I can just bring it right over, and first thing to do is pipette the sample into the tube that is going to be mixed with the salt reagent before it gets brought into the PeCOD. So I'm just going to go right there, bringing 10 milliliters of that sample into here, real quick, into the tube, really nice and easy. I'm going to go and take my salt reagent, and we just use this bottle top dispenser to make it that much quicker and easier for just come up, take your sample, prepare it in less than a minute, and bringing it over to the PeCOD. Now I could run it off of the touchpad here on the instrument, but I'm actually just going to come right over onto our computer here to make it even easier. Same thing, just a touch button there, and then I just start it right up. And as this is going, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my screen sharing here so that you can see that as it's going. You should be able to see the software and the hardware going. So right now, PeCOD's just sucking in that sample. We call it priming, bringing it so it's fully brought into the sensor, which is actually doing the work for the PeCOD. So got kind of an example of one of those sensors right here. So there's one of these little chips sitting up here in the top of the unit in the analyzer head, and that's got titanium dioxide in a very small cell right there. So the sample's introduced, and a blank is actually introduced first. So the same thing happens to a blank and then to a sample. It's rapidly oxidized by a UV light shining down into that small cell in the presence of titanium dioxide, and that produces a charge. And that charge is then captured by this piece right here. So both of these pieces are sitting in here inside the analyzer head. And this is an electrode right here. So this is capturing all of the charge, the energy generated from that oxidation reaction. And all of that is recorded. Over time, the oxidation proceeds. So if you're looking at the software right now, you'll be able to see exactly that. So you can have your oxidation curve going for your blank, and then it's going to perform the sample oxidation, back calculate the total charge generated, which is proportional to the COD with a high degree of accuracy. And it's all done really simple and quick and really easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen over here so you can get a little bit of a better view of the software. There we go, that should do it. So you can see right there, you've got your oxidation curve. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. Got the touch screen going there, which is pretty nice. And then I'm just going to go ahead and show you while this is running how this would look if you were getting ready to set it up. So you've got just these buttons right here. So these are quick and easy actions that you just press it, press start, and you're off to it. You have daily calibrations for the PeCOD. You have a routine that it goes through when you're putting a new sensor into there. And you've got your QC routines and sample analysis and all that. And this is all fully customizable. Say you have specific sample sets or anything like that that you do on a daily basis, a weekly basis. You can just tie it to a button and just make it really quick and easy. So, yeah, so that's kind of nice. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the screen sharing now. You can see this going again. So like I said, all of the same functionality that can be run right off the PeCOD unit here if you don't have a computer going with it. But the software does make it a lot easier because of the automated features. Another automated feature is emails or text messages being sent directly to you, say after the PeCOD passes the calibration, after it's finished a sample, anything like that can just be sent right to you. And then there's also the automation of calibrations. So you can tell it the day before, all right, well, I'm going to be starting my PeCOD analysis at 7 o'clock in the morning. I need that to be ready at 7. So we're going to start the calibration at 6 or 5:30, and we're just going to let it go through, do its QC checks, and just be sitting ready for me to go when I get in at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty nice. This right here that you're seeing is the benchtop version of our PeCOD. So it's the most common right now at this point, but we have some customers that have such a large sample set that it's beneficial to have an auto sampler. So they have a multi-position auto sampler moving that intake tube more or less from sample to sample, rinsing out the unit, and going up to 50 to 100 samples in a row without the operator doing anything. And then you have the fully online setup, which is where we put this exact same technology, exact same fast method into a cabinet where it's automating the sample preparation, actually drawing the sample out of a process line or a holding tank or something like that, and reporting that result, that PeCOD result, every 10, 15 minutes to the operators, or at longer intervals if you want, but it can go up to every 10 or 15 minutes. So it's a very versatile unit. It's just finishing the analysis now. Came up with a COD of 155 for that analysis. And yeah, that's really it. So the PeCOD's a nice and simple tool. Gets you your COD, BOD values in minutes without any prep, very little prep, without any extra work. You just tell it to start, walk away for 5 to 10 minutes, come back, have your result. And that's really it. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch us over to our other product line, which is our automated BOD5 equipment. So the automated BOD5 equipment is going through all of the parts of the BOD5 test that take up your analyst time, which is preparing those BOD samples, running those initial DOs, running those final DOs, and doing all of the calculations and all that associated with it. Now there's various, different software programs you can get for that, but the BOD Pro, it combines everything into one easy to use, convenient package that automates the BOD5 test for you, tracks your samples, reminds you to do your samples after, your 4 or 5 day incubation, and then, it goes through and does your final DO readings for you. This one's not going to be running. I'm just kind of run through what the equipment does just on its own. So you've got your pumps right here. So that would be a dilution pump, seed pump, inhibitor pump if you're doing carbonaceous BOD. And we can also add on other pumps if you wanted to. Then we have added additional pumps and even more precise burette modules, just depending on customer needs. But this is a very standard setup right here, automatically adding those 3 reagents. You have your DO meter right here, and that can be hooked up to 1, 2, or 3 different DO probes, both membrane and optical variety. And then you have your auto sampler, which is really doing all of the hard work, I guess you could say, the moving of the probes into the bottles, automatically going in there, turning on a stir, which is located directly on the probe itself, reading that DO. And if you have this fully automated system, before it reads the DO, it can do that sample preparation for you. So it'll add the dilution water, it'll add the seed and the inhibitor at the right time, and then it'll go through, finish filling up that dilution water. It actually uses a liquid level sensor, which brings that right up to the neck, exactly where it needs to be, calculates precisely how much was added, and then it goes in and it measures the DO. And it goes back to this flowing rinse station right here in the back corner, which has flowing rinse water going through it. Just making sure that those probes are nice and clean, ready for the next sample. We do have an option if you're running series of dilutions to kind of skip the rinsing, because it's sometimes not necessary depending on the sample. But it's pretty versatile software. It's in a similar way to the PeCOD. Well, it's all MANTECH software, right? So we built it the same way. You have these shortcut buttons which automate all of your daily tasks, be it your Monday, your Tuesday, or Wednesday, setting up your DOs, your initials for that day, your finals, maintenance things such as calibrating the probe, changing membrane caps, all that kind of stuff. It can all just be automated at the touch of a button. Really quick shortcut buttons that'll just do it like that. So yeah, there's really not much to it other than that. It's pretty simple hardware because all it's doing is it's automating these fairly basic but time-consuming aspects of the BOD5 test. And then when it comes to sizing, this one right here is our 23 position, but we go up to 90 positions and have the ability to go even more than that. We just haven't yet. And then our smallest size is an 11 position system. So anywhere between those. We also have sold manual systems where the operator is still moving those probes in from sample to sample, but the software takes care of all of the tracking of samples, all the calculations, all of that extra work in the background. So the operator can just be hands off, measuring DOs, and that's that. So you just choose your level of automation with this kind of system, and you go on. And at that, I'm just going to go ahead and switch us over to our third product line, which is the MT series, environmental titrators and multi-parameter analyzers. So here we are with our MT100, as we call this model. So this one's automating the analysis of pH, conductivity, and alkalinity. And it's doing that out of 50 ml tubes. And that's all seated on this rack right here. There's 73 positions on the rack. And this is a very standard setup for us, but just like with the BOD system, we have many sizes of auto samplers. And with this system in particular, we support a wide variety of sample vessels. Because oftentimes there's two reasons for this. One of them being there's a type of sample vessel you use in your laboratory all the time, and it is most convenient to keep the sample in those sample vessels, move it from one system to the next, and we can make it so the MANTECH system accommodates that. We've done it with many of our customers. 50 ml tubes are very standard, very common, so that's why we kind of go with that as our standard model. But with these three parameters in this same system, so the MT100, we can also do a 15, so 15 ml tube. And on the same size auto sampler, so this is our smallest size, very compact, we can fit 212 sample positions. So a really large amount of sample capacity in a small bench space, using very small volumes, minimizing your reagents. It makes for a very sustainable and productive solution. It's a great solution for your lab. These systems are also very versatile with regard to how many parameters we can add to them. So very easily we could add a fluoride parameter to this just by adding another probe and possibly another pump, or we'd put those probes in the same position. And then we can also measure things directly in the tube as well. That would be what we refer to as an MT30 or an MT10 model. All of it doing the same MANTECH chemistry, same parameters, same methods, but various levels of automation, really, taking it off of your operator's hands. The MT100, one of the biggest benefits of this compared to the other models, the MT30 and the MT10, where you're measuring the tube, is this one has automated pipetting. So it features an automated pipetting pump right there, and that's drawing the sample up from the auto sampler, primes the line first, and then dispenses an accurate 10 ml of that sample for the alkalinity titration. So that's what's going on right now. Would you mind just switching the software on this one, just so everyone can see that too? Because right now it's actually performing the titration curve, and we're going to want to just see if we can get that going. So you should be able to see them side by side right now. And that's the titrant for this titration is being delivered by this burette in the back corner right here. So that's injecting a small amount of titrant. Actually, would you mind just putting it on the titration curve as well? It's just the live plots tab there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, perfect. That's it. So right there, you can see the titration curve live updating. And the burette right there is delivering that titrant in varying amounts. So it'll do small injections to start off, just making sure that it's not missing any low endpoints or anything like that. That's how we achieve our fairly low concentration limit. I think for alkalinity is 0.3 or 0.2 ppm, something like that. And it essentially has a target change in pH that it's trying to achieve with every one of those injections. So it'll inject, see how much change in pH happens, and then it dynamically changes the next injection to make sure that curve ends up being nice and smooth and accurate, and you get a good result, highly precise every single time. It's the kind of titration you can really trust in. You can walk away from a set of 100, 200 samples and know you're going to come back and have all those results ready to go. And yeah, it's really, really versatile system in that way. I'm just going to go ahead and jump over to the software here again so I can show you a few more features here. I'll just share my screen really quick. go. So yeah, so you can see here is the titration curve. You can see your raw data on the side. That's all able to be exported if you wanted. It is all saved in the database, so you can go back and look at previous titration curves. I'll just kind of show you that aspect right now as this is going. So it's continuing with sampling of the next sample, but it's a very open software in the sense that it's not locking you from going and looking at previous data or anything like that. So I can right away just go here, review my titration data. We'll go ahead and load one of the more recent titration curves here. And right away, there you go. You can see it's got that. It's got the derivative. So if you were using inflection points and inflection-based endpoints, it calculates that for you. Or if you're doing just the straight alkalinity curves, it just does it based off set endpoints. So it's nice and easy for you. And just like I showed you in the PeCOD software, it's the same software package, MANTECH Pro. So you have all of these shortcut buttons that bring up various functions for the system, be it a pH calibration, purging your burette, bring up sample runs, any of that, single analyses. And it's all very easy to access and set up and customize, really. You could even go in here and just while this is running, I could edit my buttons and get everything ready for a next run, something like that. So yeah, it's very versatile software. We can go back here and look at our previous data that was acquired. So you have your pH, conductivity, and then your speciated alkalinity results. So you have the hydroxide, carbonate, bicarbonate on there as well. The millivolt readings on the electrode, temperature compensation for all of the pH readings. That can be done either from a USB connected thermistor or directly from a thermistor that's on the conductivity probe. Depending where we're measuring the pH, really, or whichever parameter we are measuring. So yeah, so it's pretty good like that. We can look at the equations that it's using even here. So you can see exactly how it's getting each one of the results. Very easy to look at. And you can see in the run table here what's already been run and what's still up to run. And it's very easy to just kind of go through here. And if we wanted to, we could go as this is running and edit this, and we could go and add another sample at the bottom there. We could change the, maybe this is a rush priority sample or something like that. So we could put that in there and run that right away. Tell it to run next, for example, if we wanted to. Or we can just add samples onto the end of the run. Very easy. We would just click this commit button and it would go. Or if you change your mind, you can just click cancel. It just doesn't do it. Very easy. We have this script monitor. It kind of shows you exactly what the system's doing at any time. Right now it's using this pump, and then it's going to use a drain after that. Just rinsing out the analysis vessel there. And over here in the live plots, you also have your calibration plot, so you can see that live updating as it's going, or also come back and review it after it's done, make sure everything went well. So yeah, it's very, very nice, easy to use software. It gives you the results that you need, full exporting capabilities to CSVs, and it can go into your LIMS system very easily, or be printed off PDFs directly to your printer, all that kind of stuff. It's very versatile. And just like I was saying before, you can have your email alerts or your SMS alerts. With a system like this, it would come in handy, for example, to know when your run's finished, or when it gets to a certain QC. If a QC fails, you would get an email right away telling you, oh, your MANTECH needs some attention, and you'd go off and do what needs to be done. Or you just get emailed the sample report right away, so you can just review your results right there on your computer, ready to go before you even have to go back to the instrument. It's just sitting there, already properly stored and everything, ready to go for the next run. Yep, that's pretty much it. So I'll just go ahead and switch back to the live view here again. So yeah, so it's all in all a multi-parameter, versatile piece of equipment. Does the analysis you need, wet chemistry, along with optical parameters such as turbidity, color, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's really whatever you need it to do. It's very versatile. So often how we talk to customers about it is we ask, what parameters do you want to run? How many samples do you need to run? And do you have time constraints or anything like that? Because then we might go with various different configurations. We might propose, 2 analysis vessels versus 1 just to speed things up. Or, performing certain analyses at the same time simultaneously. it's we've got the really nice standard setups that work well, or tried and true, but then we can bring that a step further and make it perform exactly as you want it to. And that's really it. So yeah, that's I'll leave it at that. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to us through our website, www.mantech-inc.com, or by phone at 1-519-763-4245. Look forward to hearing from you.
Justin, thank you. That was fantastic. And one thing I wanted to thank everyone as well, I forgot to introduce myself, so I'm Robert, CEO of MANTECH. But one thing, Justin, if you wanted to point out, there's MANTECH Pro software, which Justin showed a lot of the screenshots, how it's running. When you're watching the PeCOD, that was MANTECH Pro software, all one centralized software package for everything. But it's smart with intelligent devices as well. So for example, the picture you're seeing now, or the video, those are intelligent pumps. There's an intelligent mini hub. These are bi-directional, communicating back and forth with MANTECH Pro. So for example, MANTECH Pro controls the RPM of that parasolic pump. We call it the IntelliPump. It even controls the direction of it. So it can control the speed, get the flow rates you want. And it allows basically one pump across all platforms, whether it's for MT, PeCOD, or BOD and online. The mini hub connects your electrodes, your stirrers, the accurate Class A automated IntelliDose pump, also bi-directional, completely controlled by MANTECH Pro. So that's the key. All smarts, intelligent, built-in, real useful information that is being given to you as it's running, and you know what's going on. And again, thank you everyone. Really appreciate the time, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.